For 6 years, Lynn and Ben had a normal, stable relationship. She was never into pranks or anything creepy, making her recent strange behavior out of character. It all started with her peeking around corners, grinning like a mischievous child. It was unsettling, but he brushed it off, thinking it was her attempt to join in on his love for horror. The incidents escalated when she started peeking at Ben from odd places, like inside a trunk or behind curtains. He confronted her, but she dismissed it as a playful game. Eventually, she stopped for a while, making Ben think it was over. However, the situation took a terrifying turn when she peeked at him from behind the shower curtain with a deranged grin. Frightened, Ben locked myself in the bathroom, only to find her later peeking from the closet. Terrified, Ben fled to his brother's house, leaving Lynn confused and unaware of the fear she'd instilled in him. Unable to sleep at his brother's house, he contemplated returning home. The unsettling image of Lynn's twisted grin haunted my dreams. Knowing she'd been in the closet with him the entire time shook him to the core. The next morning, he decided to call Lynn, needing assurance that the creepy antics were over. He longed for the return of my normal, serious wife. As Ben sat in the dimly lit motel room, his hands trembling as he typed out the terrifying events that unfolded, he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The unknown number and the ominous message had sent a chill down his spine, leaving him more frightened and desperate than ever. He glanced around the room, paranoia seeping into every corner of his mind. The cheap motel walls felt thin, offering little comfort or security. The distant hum of traffic outside and the flickering neon sign seemed to mock his vulnerability. Ben's phone buzzed, interrupting the eerie silence of the room. An incoming call from an unknown number flashed on the screen. His heart raced as he hesitated before answering. "Hello?" Ben's voice quivered. A distorted, guttural sound emanated from the other end, sending shivers down his spine. He strained to understand, but the voice seemed intentionally obscured, a sinister whisper that left him more unsettled. "You can't escape, Ben. I'm always watching." The line went dead. Fear paralyzed him. He considered calling the police, but the unknown number and the cryptic threats left him uncertain about who could be trusted. Every option seemed fraught with danger, and he questioned whether the police could truly protect him from the unseen menace haunting his life. Unable to stay in the motel any longer, Ben packed his belongings, constantly glancing over his shoulder. He decided to drive aimlessly, hoping to lose any potential pursuers. The road stretched before him, an uncertain path leading away from the horrors that had befallen him. Hours passed, but Ben's anxiety only deepened. The weight of the unknown pressed on him, and he felt a rising sense of dread with every passing mile. He contemplated reaching out to Chris, his one reliable anchor in this nightmare. As he dialed the number, a sudden realization struck him: his wife knew his every move. The chilling thought that Lynn might have eyes everywhere paralyzed him. "Chris, it's Ben," he spoke in a hushed tone, as if fearing that even the phone might betray him. "Hey, man. What's going on?" Chris's voice was a welcome reassurance. "I don't know how to explain, but I'm in trouble. I need help, but I can't trust anyone." "Not even the police," Ben confessed, desperation tainting his words. "Slow down, Ben. Where are you?" "I'll come to you," Chris offered. The fear in Ben's voice seemed to have reached Chris, who now shared in the urgency of the situation. After a hesitant pause, Ben disclosed the name of the motel, realizing that this might be a grave mistake. "Stay put. I'll be there as fast as I can," Chris reassured him before hanging up. Ben sat in the parked car, his surroundings cloaked in darkness. The minutes felt like an eternity as he strained to catch any sign of an approaching threat. He questioned every passing shadow, each distant sound making his heart race. His eyes darted between the rearview and side mirrors, half expecting to see Lynn's haunting visage. Finally, the distant sound of an approaching vehicle snapped him out of his paranoid trance. Chris pulled into the motel parking lot, his face etched with concern. Ben couldn't help but feel a surge of relief seeing a familiar face, someone he believed he could trust. "What the hell happened, Ben?" Chris asked, his eyes scanning the area. Ben recounted the events, from the unsettling occurrences with Lynn to the mysterious threats he received. Chris listened in stunned silence, realization settling on his face. "We need to get you somewhere safe," Chris declared, his determination cutting through the tension. As they drove away from the motel, Ben couldn't shake the feeling of being hunted. The darkness outside seemed to conceal unseen eyes, watching his every move. He couldn't escape the sensation that Lynn, or whatever had consumed her, was always a step behind. Little did he know that the true horror had only just begun. This one,